most people can't even believe places like this actually exist, you know? And honestly, I doubt you'll be able to handle this video till the end. Have you ever seen houses built on top of mountains? Or an entire floating village where people actually live on dirty water? Well guys, today I'm going to show you 15 of the most unbelievable places on Earth. So if you think you're brave enough, don't quit now. Let's get started. Brazilian favela. Guys, this place might look really beautiful to you at first glance because the design of the houses here is so unique. People from all over the world come to see these colorful houses. But the reason tourists visit here isn't just for the colors. It's the way these houses are built. Every house in the favela has a unique design. A house that looks like it has just one floor actually has two. Now, as beautiful as this place may look, it also has a dark side. No outsider can walk around the favela alone, nor can they just enter inside because some of Brazil's biggest gangsters live here. At any moment, gang wars can break out between rival groups, which is why no one wants to go in alone. But if you go with a local guide, then you won't face any trouble. On top of that, the favela is located in an area that becomes dangerous every year during monsoon season. When strong winds blow in from the ocean carrying heavy rainfall, the risk of landslides increases. That's why the government has installed loud warning sirens all around this area. Sealand. Guys, at first glance this might look like just a small piece of a bridge, but in reality, it's actually a country. To go here you need a passport, and this country even has its own currency. It's located about 12 kilometers off the coast of the UK, completely separate from all other nations, and is considered the smallest country in the world. On top of that, it's like a nation floating in the air. But the surprising part is, only a family of 25 people lives here. This place was originally built during World War II by England as a base for their airplanes. After the war ended, only this small portion of the bridge was left standing. Then, in 1960, a man named Roy Bates took control of this place and declared it an independent country of his own. However, no other nation in the world recognizes it as an official country. Roy Bates lived here with his entire family and called himself the Prince of Sealand. If you want to visit Sealand, you'll need a passport issued directly by Roy Bates himself. Traveling here by helicopter is considered the safest option, but if you try to reach by boat, you'll face a tough challenge climbing up, because below lies the deep ocean and above blow extremely strong winds. That's why trying to climb up using just a rope becomes almost impossible. Jiangxi Valley, China. Guys, this valley in China is one of the most beautiful places in the world, because the houses built here are designed in a very unique way. These homes literally hang in the air. Only a small part of the house rests on the mountain, while the rest of it is completely suspended in the air. Underneath these houses, massive concrete pillars are used, which are extremely strong, and that's why the houses remain firmly supported without shaking or moving. Today there are plenty of facilities to reach the village up here. There are stairways to climb and boundaries for safety. But back in the day, there were no stairs and no boundaries at all. At that time, the villagers who had to climb from the bottom all the way to the top must have faced unimaginable struggles, something only they truly know. Floating village in Cambodia. Guys, this village is one of the rarest places in the world because it's built entirely on water. Every single house here has its own boat, because without a boat, traveling in this place is nearly impossible. If you try to swim from one spot to another, you could be in danger from the creatures living in the water. Snakes and crocodiles both live here. The people in this village do their daily work by catching fish, and then they take those fish to sell in the markets outside. Nearby, there's even a restaurant where tourists who come to visit this village can stop, relax, and eat. Right next to this floating village, there's also a floating forest. This forest stays submerged underwater all 12 months of the year. A lot of tourists visit this area, and interestingly, most of the boat rowers here are women. Yakutsk, Russia. Guys, this is one of the coldest places in the entire world. This city is even known globally as Ice Hell, because the level of cold here is something you can't even imagine. During winters, the normal temperature stays around 50 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, if you hang your clothes outside to dry, they'll freeze stiff because of the extreme cold. And if you throw boiling water into the air, it instantly turns into tiny crystals of ice before it even touches the ground. Now you might be wondering, with temperatures this extreme, who could possibly live here? Well guys, more than 330,000 people actually call this place home. To put it in perspective, When Antarctica has about 20 degrees Celsius, Yakutsk is sitting at 50 degrees Celsius. The lowest ever recorded temperature here was 96 degrees Celsius, so cold that if you step outside, the blood in your fingers can literally freeze, causing unbearable pain. People here even keep their car engines running constantly. If they turn the engine off, the oil inside freezes, and in no time the entire engine locks up. And here's the scariest part. If a driver is taking someone across the city and their car breaks down on the road, they only have 10 minutes to fix it. If not, the engine freezes solid, and then all they can do is sit inside the car and wait for death, because the roads here have very little traffic, and if no one passes by within an hour, their fate is sealed. Elliday Island. This island in Iceland is known as the loneliest island in the world, because there's only a single small house built on the entire island. That house has everything you'd need to live. There's a room, a kitchen, and enough space to stay comfortably. But here's the thing. There's no electricity and no internet at all. That's why this island is called the loneliest island in the world. To get here, you have to take a boat from Iceland, and once you reach the island, you can stay peacefully in that house. Right next to it, there's a storage tank built to collect rainwater, and that water is completely fresh for drinking. But when it comes to food, you can't really grow or produce anything here. The only option is to sit by the shore and go fishing. If you plan to stay here for a few days, you'll have to bring all your food supplies with you. Other than that, this island offers complete peace, totally away from the rest of the world. So tell me, how many of you would actually want to live here? If I ever got the chance, I'd love to stay here for a long time. And what about you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. China Cliff Village. Guys, this is a village in China that will give you chills even before you get there. That's because to reach this village, you have to climb iron ladders attached to the cliffs. Today, these iron ladders make the climb possible, but just 5 to 10 years ago, there were no ladders at all. Back then, if the villagers wanted to go down or climb back up, they had to use rough, narrow trails carved into the mountain. These dirt paths were so dangerous that even the slightest slip of your foot could send you falling hundreds of feet down into the deep valley below. The people of this village raise their sheep on top of the mountain, and they also grow their wheat and rice crops up there. Freedom Cove. Guys, this is an artificial island located in Clayoquot Sound, near Cypress Bay in Canada. This beautiful man-made island was built by a couple who actually live here. They grow their own vegetables on the island, and they've also planted a lot of trees and plants all around. For food, they harvest fresh vegetables right from their own island, and whenever they need something else, they travel to the nearest town and shop from the supermarket there. The couple started building this island back in 1991, and it took them about 2 years to fully complete it. Hanging Temple of Hangshan. Guys, these are China's famous hanging temples built at a height of 246 feet above the ground. Only a small portion of the temple rests on the mountain, while the entire rest of the structure is supported by wooden pillars. So far, you've seen houses on cliffs supported by concrete pillars, but in the case of these hanging temples, only wooden pillars are used. And what's even more incredible is that these temples weren't built in modern times. They were constructed over 1,400 years ago. The engineering from that time is truly unbelievable. Even today, millions of visitors come here every year to witness this ancient wonder. Reactor rotating house. Guys, have you ever seen a house built on top of a single pillar? One that actually rotates with the wind? The faster the wind blows, the faster this house spins in the air. It's made entirely of glass and wood, and it's not like the pillar was just randomly planted into the ground. Before building it, a solid base was carefully prepared. After that, the construction of the house began. First, a small box-like structure was built on top of the pillar, and then metal rods were added to shape and support the rest of it. The construction of this house started in 2016 and was fully completed by 2018. Makoko, Africa. Guys, this is one place in Africa where you'd probably never want to go. That's because the houses here are built directly on top of water, and it's not fresh water, but extremely dirty water. People live in makeshift homes built right over it. Makoko is one of the most unusual places in Africa, located in Lagos, Nigeria. And don't think only a few people live here just because the homes look like small shacks. In fact, hundreds of thousands of people live in this tiny area. Most of them survive by taking boats out to catch fish for their livelihood. But the real struggle is that there are no schools for children here. and not even a hospital nearby. If someone falls sick, they have to be taken all the way to the city hospital. Because of the dirty water surrounding this village, most of the people here are constantly suffering from illnesses. Drina River House. Guys, after seeing this house, there are probably very few of you who wouldn't want to visit. This house is built in the middle of a river, with water flowing all around it. It was originally built here to attract tourists, because many visitors come to this river for swimming, and when they get tired of swimming, they can go inside this house to relax. At first, only a single house was built here, but as the number of tourists kept increasing, more and more of these houses were added. However, several times this house has been swept away by the river itself. Whenever the river's current becomes too strong, the water level rises so high that the house has been carried away by the flow multiple times. Mount Fanjing. Guys, these are two narrow mountain peaks, and right on their summit stand two Buddhist temples. Between the two peaks, there's even a small staircase connecting them. As you climb higher and higher up these mountains, the valley below starts looking deeper and deeper, and by the time you finally reach the top, your legs might literally start shaking, because from up here, the height is absolutely terrifying. Many people don't even dare to climb this mountain out of fear. Only those who aren't afraid of heights manage to make it to the very top. Train running through a skyscraper. Guys, you've probably seen trains running on the ground, but have you ever seen a train passing straight through a building? In China, there's a train track that actually runs right through the middle of a skyscraper. Inside this building, there are people's apartments. To protect their privacy, whenever the train passes through, all the windows of the train automatically blur, so no one can see inside the building. And the moment the train exits the skyscraper, the windows return back to normal. Tuvalu Island. Guys, this country is made up of a long stretch of islands, completely surrounded by the ocean. Located in the West Central Pacific Ocean, it sits right between Hawaii and Australia. But here's the shocking part. This country may soon disappear underwater. That's because Tuvalu is only about 2 meters above sea level, and its highest point is just 4 to 5 meters high. According to researchers, the ocean level is rising at a rate of 3.9 millimeters per year, which means in just a few years this entire nation could be swallowed by the sea. For now, though, Tuvalu is still a perfect place to visit. There's just one straight road that runs across the island, and a large airstrip where flights land. The people who live here build their homes in two ways. One is the visible house above ground, and the other is a shelter built below ground. That's because at night, the winds here get so strong that sleeping above ground becomes difficult, and if powerful ocean waves strike the island, the houses can get flooded, forcing people to sleep outside. Adding to that, there are no ATMs here, and no regular internet service. If you want to use the internet, you have to go to a government office where access is provided. So guys, that's the end of today's video. This is actually my very first video, so if you noticed any mistake, I promise I'll fix it in my next one. All I need is your support, because with your love, I'll bring even more interesting and mind-blowing videos for you. So please, stay with me on this journey, and I'll make sure every next video is even better than the last. Thank you so much.